there's this trust factor that no matter what my wife does or no matter what she says, even in the heat of battle between the both of us, I know deep down inside she loves the shit out of me and I love the shit out of her. But I trust her with every decision or every comment she makes that she's trying to make me a better person. Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Kaizen Kast, Small Steps, Big Changes. I'm your host, TJ Del Vecchio. Today's episode is going to relate back to the last episode we were talking about health, wealth, and relationships. And I want to touch base. We did touch a lot on the health part, but I want to touch base on the relationship part of what needs to be talked about in our lives. So relationship can go many different ways. You could start with your home life. It can be part of your work life. And it is part of everyone's life, to be honest. I mean, we work really hard to get a job. And how do you do that? A lot of times you get the job through relationships. When you get your job, you're building a relationship with your boss. If you're the owner of the company, you're building a relationship with your employees. There's some kind of trust factor that goes on. What ended up happening is we tried to always be completely honest with everybody. And when I've had situations in my own personal life where I've had what I thought were really good friends that I built relationships with over 15 years that actually turned around and looked me straight in the eye and was telling me everything was okay when things were not okay, and lied to me to my face. And it was devastating to me based on the fact that this was all over money. So it's funny how the wealth and the relationship part kind of tie into each other. Like I keep saying, the health, wealth, and relationship. But it's interesting how quickly things can turn when, especially somebody like myself, when I put myself out there, if I build a relationship with somebody, I'm really doing it from the bottom of my heart. And I really want things to go as best as they can. But, life's not perfect. We all know that. But I tried my hardest to make this relationship work with a friend in a business decision. And I gave him all the benefits of the doubt, thinking that it would never, ever, ever come to this. But it ended up costing my relationship with him and also lots of money. So it's kind of interesting how things work in life where you build a relationship based off of, wow, our kids were really good friends. I became very close with him. And I had never done any business transactions with him. So I got to the point there where I was like, wow, we're so close. I see what he's doing. He's a successful man. He saw what I was doing. I was successful on Wall Street. And, people make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes in life. It's the ones who know how to actually jump in front of it and be accountable for them that actually can turn things around in a relationship. There's the people that do the opposite and hide and lie to you and turn the other way and make believe nothing's wrong until everything blows up in your face. In my eyes, it's interesting because I work really hard to build these relationships with people. And everything in life is about relationships. My dad used to tell me when I was a young kid, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And that's really the truth with everything, with business, how you handle your relationship with your wife, your husband, your girlfriend, your boyfriend. Number one, if you're not honest, you're already going down the wrong path. Honesty in life is everything. Number two, especially for somebody like myself, as a man, you need to be able to take the accountability and even suck it up and say, you know what, I'm wrong even when I think I'm right. Because I say this to my wife today, in a relationship, we're supposed to be a team. So when you're a team, you're supposed to work together. But I see a lot of relationships that go on in life that they're fighting amongst themselves, and it's not a team effort. It's a one against the other. And I tell my wife today, I'm always like, I'm not trying to one up you. I'm not trying to do more than you. I'm trying to better myself and hopefully better our family. And I also know she feels the same way about me, and she does the same exact things. But we also go through periods of time where we're just not on the same page. But in a relationship that you care about each other, you work through these things. I've seen relationships where that just never ever goes away, where you constantly not on the same page, and then you make believe things are better. They're really not, because you never solved the problem. You never said I was sorry. And if you did say you're sorry, the other person didn't reciprocate. It's a two-way street in relationships. Same thing in business with relationships. You can't be doing all the work, or you can't be making all the decisions and then hope that your partner's going to be like, yeah. And then you tell him that every time his decision comes up every time it's his turn to make a decision, you shoot it down, or she shoots it down. He or she, whoever's running, whoever's your partner. Those things like that, it can't be a one-way street. Because if it's a one-way street, then you're never going to get anywhere in life. Because to be honest, neither one of you trust each other. That's the other part of relationships that are awesome. There's this trust factor that no matter what my wife does, or no matter what she says, even in the heat of battle between the both of us, I know deep down inside she loves the shit out of me, and I love the shit out of her. But I trust her with every decision or every comment she makes, that she's trying to make me a better person. Most people look at it and they get very, very defensive, and they want to argue. And it could be the smallest things in life. Now think about it. That also is the same thing in business. If you have a partner that you're supposed to trust and believe in, you're supposed to allow him to make some decisions too. But every time if your partner comes to the table with a decision and you shoot him down, or you yes him to death and nothing ever changes, what does that partner do? He's probably going to tell you to go fuck yourself, or he's just going to shut down and stay a partner, but he's not really a partner. That's a tough way to live. That's a really tough way to live, and I've seen it. I've seen it on many occasions. That's not happiness. That does not create happiness at all. Honestly, it just creates anger. First of all, you get knocked down a few pegs, because you're supposed to be equals to each other. Regardless if it's your wife or if it's your husband, there's no one person's bigger or better than the other. You're working together. Same thing in the business world. If you have a partner in business, and especially if it's an equal partnership, that person isn't supposed to trump the other person. They're supposed to pick each other up. I learned this at a very, very young age, when I was like playing sports, and I kind of became like one of the leaders in most of the sports that I played in. If you're going to lead a team, especially like as a quarterback, you don't turn, if your wide receiver drops a wide open touchdown pass, you don't turn around to the crowd and throw your hands up in the air and show the guy up. You actually, what you do is you grab him, pat him on the back of the helmet, or give him a hug and say, don't worry about it, we got the next one. To know that you have his back. That's the most important thing in life. When you don't think when people don't have your back, and you're always second guessing everything that they do, or second guessing yourself, that's a fucked up feeling. It's actually a horrible feeling. It's an empty feeling. And there's a part of me that knows about some of that stuff too. Like I said, I had a close friend that I trusted with everything, and he knew about my stuff. I knew about his stuff. And again, people make mistakes in life, but if you're not man enough to fess up to them and be like, dude, you're one of my best friends and we're doing business together, I'm going to put you first in line and you don't, to me, that's a character flaw, because I fuck up every day. But I do, you know what I do? I fix the problems. I'm accountable for my actions. And that goes hand in hand with our relationship with each other, my wife and I. You know, I make her a better person. She makes me a better person. Are we in tune every single day? I mean, most days we are. But there's days where she's tired, she's not feeling good. Just like maybe I didn't get a good night's sleep. Same thing. That's when you have to step up as a partner and be like, I got you today. Instead of fucking riding the person and then getting them more agitated. What's that cause? Gives you anxiety, gives you anger, gives them anxiety, and then you're fighting, then you're not talking. That worked out really well. Seen that movie over and over again. Know tons of people that are like that. And then they just get on with their lives and make believe that day was over and nothing was ever solved and there was no problems. It's the hardest thing in life is to be able to say, you know what, I screwed up, especially right in the beginning, because everybody wants to hide behind something and try to fix it or make a move and make a shortcut to try to fix a relationship or try to fix a problem inside the relationship, instead of just coming out and saying, you know what, you're right. I was nasty today. I'm sorry for being that way. People have short tempers, like myself. I just have to remember that I'm trying to be a better person every day. But stay with this, that the relationship part of it, it's very, very simple. Whether it's your home life or your business life, you have to build great relationships, build a great foundation to build either a great business or a great family. It goes hand in hand. And then if you're building those two things are great, then the wealth comes. See how it's all connected? You get your mind and body right with health. You're building relationships since you've been a little kid, learning how to talk to people, that's what my mother told me. She taught me all this. She was the one, if you communicate and you tell the truth and you build relationships with people, people will trust you. Well, sometimes I've put too much trust into people and sometimes they put too much trust into me. And I'm sure that it goes both ways. Again, accountability is huge in my life. Not perfect, but I'm going to fix it every single time as best I can. That relationship part of it, you could have, how about this? You could have the best relationship with your partners in business and have a shitty relationship with your wife or girlfriend at home. Why is that? Well, again, I told you everything in life is hard. You have to work at it. And the more you work at it, the easier it gets. So if you're spending 99% of your time in your work life and you're crushing it, which I'm sure you would be, just like anybody else, if you're working that hard, you're making tons of money, you're starting to feel good about yourself, but then you come home and you're not working on your relationship with your wife or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your husband, then it's not going to work. Now, I say this in every episode. You also have to figure out that you're with like-minded people. Sometimes you chase things in life and you realize when you get to the top, you're not with like-minded people, so you never have a chance. And you'll always be spinning around in a circle. And you'll never get to where you want to go and never see your true potential. That's super important to remember. Again, I'm telling you, everybody, this because it's something that I've learned over the last 5 years, 7 years, whatever it's been. The relationship part of it is so important. It starts at such a young age. that when you build these relationships with people and the trust that you put into people, it's sometimes, I'm still devastated at some of the things that's happened to me over some of the relationships that I've had in business. But that's life. You live and learn, and you correct them and never make that same mistake again. It's the same thing with your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend. If you guys can't see eye to eye 95% of the time, 97% of the time, then maybe you're not with the right person. Or maybe you're not working hard enough in the relationship that is what you started with, because maybe it's not the same as it used to be. Maybe you've had kids now and you've put all your effort into your kids, and that part of your relationship is completely gone because you're not working on the two of you. Now you have two kids, or one or three or four, whatever the number is, and you've put all your efforts into that, and you haven't taken time for you two to figure out what's going on in your lives. We don't have enough hours in the day to try to make everything perfect, but you can work on stuff. And it just takes a little bit of effort. And I think that's where we're lost, because we live in the world, again, when I say this to you, everybody's like, he keeps saying this over and over again, but we live in the world of instant gratification. Same thing with our relationships. They don't just happen overnight. Yeah, you see somebody and you're like, oh, wow, she's pretty. Let me go talk to her. Okay, now you've started. It takes a long time to build that trust. A very long time. And then now you go into the business world, same thing with your business partner. You just don't jump into something with somebody you met yesterday and said, okay, you're going to be my business partner. This guy I knew for 15 years. Never once talked about business. Got into business together, and now we don't talk ever again. That's a shame. But I was blinded more by the friendship and the trust to him than I was about actually following the business deal. But that's life, and it's only money. It's only money. So I'm a little bit more animated about today because it does tie into a lot of the things that I've been through in my life, good and bad. Made my own bad decisions in life and also made some great ones along the way. You put the two, and again, it goes back to your home life and your business life. It's as simple as that. And that's a lot to take in right there. Never mind, you got to worry about your health and then the wealth, right? So those two parts of your life right there, those two relationship parts, are everything that starts in your life, along with you getting your mind and body right, healthy-wise. So you work very, very hard to build that relationship with your wife. And then you guys, or your girlfriend who ends up turning into your wife, excuse me. And then you build that relationship and you think everything's great. And then you now have your focus on, okay, I got to make lots of money. So now that goes back to the business relationship, and you build that with people that you trust. And, when I do that, the relationship part, I love people. That's the type of heart I have. I want to help people, but I also love, I'm loyal as a motherfucker. I love being part of things that people want to win at. I want to win just as much as everybody else. But if I'm a partner, I like to make decisions too. And sometimes, and I get it, sometimes that doesn't always work out the right way. But it's still a partner. You're still in a relationship. A relationship to me means trust, loyalty, friendship. And I guess sometimes, when you're in business like that, you have to be a little bit more thick-skinned and not look at it as more of a friendship relationship, but as a business relationship, which is totally fine. I've learned that throughout the years too. But the relationship part of this piece today is so important for you to get on track with your life. To let people know that, hey, one, my home life is great. And two, my work life is great. That doesn't mean that, I used to base it off of how much money I made, the wealth part. But again, there's so many wealthy people out there, multimillionaires, probably billionaires, that are so unhappy with the other parts of their life that it doesn't matter how many toys you have. It doesn't matter how many houses you have. So what's the point? What really is the point? That's what I'm starting to understand about life. I always thought that, you know what, if I create as much wealth as I can, then I'm going to have enough toys, and I don't have to work, and I'm never not going to want to work at something to try to be great at it. It's just who I am as a person. And I truly believe this because I've lived it. You have idle time in your life. It just gives you time to do destructive things, which can be destructive from a personal standpoint. It can be destructive to your relationship in business, and it can be destructive to your relationship at home. When you have that much free time, idle time, and you're not really focused on the core things in your life, health, wealth, and relationship, you have to work at these things every single day. And I guarantee you, anybody that's in marriage counseling or going to some of these seminars for business, they're going to talk about how hard building those relationships with people so they build trust in you, so that you're selling yourself every single day, no matter what you're doing, no matter what products you're selling, no matter who you're working for. You still had to sell yourself to get the job. You still had to build a relationship with the owner of the company. You still had to build a relationship with your girlfriend that now may be your wife, that you guys have trust together. But all those key components are all the things that I said, and it's very, very simple. If you're honest, you're loyal, and you work hard at those, at your home life and your work life, not every day is going to be perfect. We all know that, but you'll be pretty damn successful. And it's not about how, and again, I say this because it's hard for me to say because I've always cared about money so much. It's not always about the money. Living in the moment and enjoying the times that you have with your family, your friends that you trust, that you've built relationships with, those are super important. Of course, the wealth part of it makes things easier as you go on, but that comes with the other two working together also. Like I said in the beginning about health, we must take the time every single day to work on your relationship with your family members, with your bosses, with your partners. It's super, super important. Because if you don't, you're going to be lacking somewhere. And it's amazing because I think about how much time that I used to waste in bars and in clubs, all these places that were just ridiculous. And now I barely have time to breathe because I try to work on my relationship with my kids. I work on my relationship with my wife. I try to better myself in business with my partners. I'm finding new partners in my life for business because we're going down a different venture. That's what you do to keep growing as a person. No one's perfect. No one's perfect. And you're not going to be right all the time. But I will tell you this. If you have a strong partner in your house, you're going to make some really solid decisions. Really solid decisions. Because when you're like-minded and you can bounce off of each other and each one of you respect each other, it makes life a lot easier. It truly does. I say that to my wife all the time. So you came into my life at a perfect time, and the trust I have in her when we make decisions is like I give her final say. Never done that in my life. But I trust her. She's smart. She's got some alpha in her. She does her due diligence about stuff. She trusts my decision instead of questioning, like, why am I doing it this way? Instead of saying, wow, that sounds good, but maybe you want to think about it this way. That's a partnership. Not like you think you say it this way and then they come back with a different answer, like, why are you doing it that way? That's not a relationship. Please understand that this is another key component, the relationship part. And like I said, it's not only in your home life, but it's also in your business life, because no matter where you start, no matter what job you take, you got to learn to build a relationship, and somebody may help you along the way. You had a friend because that was a relationship that introduced you to somebody else that works at a different company. Everything in this life is about who you know, not as much of what you know. Because I'll be honest with you, at 52, I'm still learning. And when I was 22, I knew shit, but I knew how to build relationships. That's what's made me successful throughout my life. And like I said, not every relationship has been perfect, but I'm learning each day how to grow from that. So please listen to this episode about relationships, because it really does touch pretty much your whole life, whether it's your home life or your business life. And just remember, be around like-minded people so you guys can collaborate together and get the best final decision made. Arguments do nothing but cause anxiety, anger, and then it splits you up. Don't do that. I tell my wife all the time, I'm here to help you because I want to make this, I'm not here to one up you. I want to make this relationship as strong as we possibly can so nobody can break us. That's how I feel about business. And that's how everybody should feel. It doesn't always work that way, and it takes some time, and you're going to get run over. And the younger you are and the more times you put yourself out there, there's going to be times where you're going to get run over, and that's okay. Just pick your ass back up and get around like-minded people, and your day will get better. Please stay in touch and follow and listen to all of our social media pages, and stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you so much, and God bless.